let's first talk about how you got on the show, because we've heard like you were like did the blocking for charity season. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So I was basically charity stand-in. I worked with the show for actually 2 years. So I did a few other, I did the Men Tell All, and I also did AFR as well for them. So it's been a couple years for me with the show. And while I was on charity season doing the blocking for her on stage, I got approached from some of the producers and they were like, "Hey, would you actually want to come on the show?" And I was so confused. I was just getting like snacks from Crafty and like
Yeah. Well, wait.
trying to do my job.
Before you get into that, can you kind of explain? Because I know a lot of people that are listening to this may not really understand what blocking is and what you do. Could you kind of explain that just for our listeners?
Yeah, definitely. It can be a little confusing, but basically there's a first team and a second team. First team is the cast, the main cast. Second team are the people who stand in for the cast. So we do all of their maybe movements, potential movements, if there's potential like lines that they need to hit or things that need to be said, we do all of that for them. And then mostly lighting too. So they want to know how these people are going to look on camera. They want to know if this angle is the best, if they're going to be too far from the audience at this point. They want to know all of those steps. And I run through the steps for them so that when they get on stage, it's all clear, it's all taken care of, and they can have the least amount of problems as possible. So that's my job. I do everything for them so that it makes everything just run seamlessly or as seamlessly as possible. There's still going to be issues, still going to be problems, but I do most of it for them so that it's easy on everyone.
This is for the live shows, not the actual. This is only for live shows. Okay.
Only live shows. I've never been to the mansion before, never traveled with crew or cast or any of that. It's literally on the lot, just at the studio. That's the only place that I've been.
So basically, before they film, for example, like Charity's Men Tell All, you would go stand in for Charity and like sit in the hot seat so they could figure out like, the camera height and the lighting and all of that.
Exactly. So you want to just be as similar as possible to them and maybe say things that maybe they would say at this point because you've seen kind of the footage and what's gonna happen. So yeah, I would sit in the hot seat. Joey also has like, a stand-in. Don has a stand-in. And so we all like work together to make sure that it runs as seamlessly as possible. We never know what's gonna happen though. There's no lines or anything, but we just try to improv and give it our best based on the footage that we see. So
that's so cool.
So then you're getting snacks and a producer walks up to you, and how does that conversation go?
Yeah, I remember verbatim. I went to like Crafty. I got some snacks and I was getting a coffee because it had already been a long day. And I remember seeing this guy and I wasn't sure who he was. But I was talking and we were having a great conversation. And then one of the PAs, which is a production assistant, comes up to me and they go, "Do you know who that is?" And I was like, I have no idea, but he seems really cool. He's nice. And they were like, that's, the head man in charge. Like he's one of the big producers. And I was like, oh, well, he seems awesome. And so I was like, that's great. He's like, but I think they like are trying to see if they want you on the show. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just working, I'm just going to go back, do my job. I'm in and out. And so, yeah, I'm standing there and three producers approach me and they go, "Would you actually like to be on the show?" And I was like, I kind of froze up a bit because it came out of nowhere and I was just so confused and I was like, are they serious? Like, is this real? So I was just like, sure. And they were like, well, are you single first? And I was like, oh, I'm very single. That's one. Yeah. We can check that box. And then, yeah, we had a couple more conversations and eventually I made it on the show, which is crazy.
Did you have any idea who the Bachelor was going to be at that time?
I did. So they kind of show the footage and I knew at that point who it was. And that's why I was also excited too. So I was like, okay, if it's going to be him, I'm going to do it. So,
okay, nice.
Yeah. Truly the most unique casting story that must exist in this franchise. Other than like, I mean, Joe, you got scouted in a Whole Foods, but like, it's just crazy that you were like working, you're on set, you're doing your job at the Bachelor Studios at Warner Brothers, and then they're like, "Hey, so when you're done, you want to go buy some gowns and come film next season."
It's crazy, I swear. I think back every time and just being back on the stage, I'm like, this is so surreal. This can't be real. Like, this cannot be real. Like,
did Women Tell All feel like such a full circle moment for you?
Oh, definitely. It felt so full circle. I took a moment when I got there just to kind of stand in this space and just take it all in and say, I was on the other side of this. Like, I know what it feels like to be on the other side. I know what it feels like to be crew. And now I'm on this side. I never thought that it would happen this way, or reality TV was never in the cards for me, I would say. It was not something that was on my mind. But if it was for love, I was open to it. And just being at the Women Tell All and that full circle moment of like, I'm really here again. And it's different now. And that's crazy.
Yeah.